Hello and welcome to Triggered and True, the podcast that's all about diving deep into the heart of who you are. I'm Brian Freise, and I'm thrilled to be here with my co host, the incredible Laura Duncan. Whether you're new to emotional healing or you've been on this journey for a while, you're in the right place. This is our special unnumbered episode designed to introduce you to what Triggered and True is all about, who we are, and how you can jump in.
Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Duncan, and I'm here to welcome you to this space, Triggered and True. This is where we get to talk about things that really matter, like our emotions, our pain, and our true self. We're here to guide you through this process that's helped thousands of people, including myself and Brian, find peace and discover who we're always meant to be. So, welcome to this space.
So, what is Triggered and True? Let's start with the name. It's catchy, maybe a little bit edgy, but Laura, what in the world does it mean?
So, triggered and true means that we are recognizing and learning how to connect with our triggered self, which your triggered self is that those moments in life where you feel anxious, you feel angry, you feel reactions to the world around you. That's our triggered self. And then we're leading through, walking through that doorway of who our triggered self is, we're going into who our true self is. And our true self is that moment where we're truly who we are. So the podcast is centered around our triggered self and the triggers that we have in this life that leads us into our true self and being able to be who we truly are.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people think that what they do is who they are.
Yes, exactly.
And in a lot of cases, what they do is just a triggered reaction and it has nothing to do with who they truly are.
Mm-hmm.
And this podcast is helping you see the difference and
Yeah.
helping you comfort what's causing the triggered pain reaction and return you to who you truly are, who you were created to
Mm-hmm.
be.
Yeah. To take away the feeling that it feels like when we're triggered, it's the enemy and there's something wrong with us. And to actually recognize that there's something beautiful about that part of ourselves that ultimately leads us back to who we are.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with you and you don't need to
Mm-hmm.
be fixed.
Exactly.
So, a little bit more about each of us. So, Laura, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes. I call myself a life consultant, and I'm a compassion method consultant that helps many people walk through emotional pain in order to be able to heal and to be able to come back to who they are. I'm not a traditional counselor, so I have it. So it's not so much about just venting and being able to, talk through things, but it's actually being able to get to the roots of things that keep us from being able to be our true self.
Laura, I do gotta say, when I first met you, I did a bit of venting. Okay.
Yes.
But what I really loved about your process is you always brought me back to me. And I would say if someone had to ask me the biggest difference between your approach to working with people and maybe some traditional ones, is that your goal is to train yourself out of a job.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep. And
You did a very good job empowering me with this
yeah,
process you developed so that I could basically, pick up the ball and run with it. So,
yes, exactly.
so a little bit more about me. As you could probably tell, I am a student of the process that Laura has developed to help me go from triggered to true. I met Laura in a very, very triggered point in my life that I've come to very affectionately call my Great Awakening, which you can learn more about on episode 18. And I am an entrepreneur. I ran a business for over 20 years. I've been very successful in the marketplace, which is one of the reasons why when I had my great awakening, I was so lost because I've always been very on top of things. And my great awakening was a period of time where I was not on top of things at all. Life was very much on top of me, and I had no idea what was going on. I was in a complete swirl. And thankfully, I met Laura and the compassion method process that she developed, and that's helped me tremendously. So, my why for doing the podcast really is first and foremost for myself, because it helps me dig deeper into the compassion method and helps me stay focused and stay grounded. I learn so much from every single episode. It's so cool to be able to continue this journey with you in this way, Laura.
Yeah.
So, secondarily, my second why then would be to share this with others because I think it's pretty powerful. It's very powerful in my life, And I know it'll be very powerful in yours too.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Brian. I feel like I'm constantly learning as well, even being the founder of this method. I'm always constantly learning. And I do agree that when you're actively teaching and sharing, you're always learning yourself. So just like Brian, I have a second why as well. And my second why is to be able to help others. But also it came from the fact that I was so booked. I used to have a 6 month wait list. And I recognized I was only one person and that I wanted to be able to reach so many more people. So when Brian and I first started discussing the aspect of doing a podcast, I got really excited to be able to help so many more people. We've been able to help thousands of people that I wouldn't have been able to help if I was only meeting with people on a one-on-one basis.
All right. So now let's talk about the compassion method. We've mentioned it a few times. And Laura, this is your life's work. So can you help us break it down?
Yeah. So I like to look at it very simply in the fact that we break it down into three parts. This is the process of being able to feel your pain, get comfort, and go play. And that is the process that we are walking people through in the 6 modules that we've broken the compassion method down into.
Yeah. And one thing that I often add kind of right at the front of that for the feel your pain is awareness
Mm-hmm.
because I had no idea because I didn't have a very good grid for emotional pain. I had no idea when I first came to you. Well, when I came to you, I knew I was hurting. Okay. I thought it was
Yeah.
something that had just happened.
Yeah.
But you helped me with the awareness that actually, no, Brian, this has been going on for a long, long time.
Yep.
And you have developed systems that we talk about that you call protectors that have
Mm-hmm.
you have put in place to prevent you from feeling your pain. You've developed systems to help you ignore your pain. So really for me, just this whole concept of awareness was kind of my first step because I was hurting all this time for all these years and didn't even know it until it got to a point where it couldn't be bottled up anymore. All
Yeah.
those protectors, all those systems of numbing that I had created failed me. They failed.
Yep.
They came down like a house of cards. And here I was feeling this gigantic glob of pain and not having any idea
Yeah.
what was going on. So,
And that's one of the exciting things about the compassion method. It's based on the neuroscience of how our brain was wired, even all the way back to early childhood development, like you're talking about, and how those building blocks affect how we're going to go through life for the rest of our lives, whether that be pain or joy. We're going to go through that based on our early childhood development. And so, learning the neuroscience that's connected to it is also a huge game changer with the compassion method.
absolutely. Yeah, this is a very scientific process. And that helped me a lot because I kind of had a thought process that some of this emotional healing stuff was kind of woo woo. And so,
Yeah.
so hearing the scientific aspect of that helped me a lot. And
Yeah.
we talk about that on numerous of the podcasts.
Hmm.
So where to start? So we have a lot of episodes out there. We have dozens of episodes. So when you
Yeah.
come to a podcast with all these episodes, it might be difficult to know like, where do I begin? Well, I would say the first place to start is finding the podcast on your favorite podcast player, whether that be Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. You can also go to our website, triggeredandtrue.com, and listen to the podcast directly there. So, all of our episodes are what I would call long words. That means that they're timeless. So, an episode that we recorded a couple years ago is as relevant today as it will be 100 years from now. We're dealing about things that are just common to all people. So, which episodes to start with? I would say that episodes 1 through 6 are very foundational because
Yeah.
they really walk you through the compassion method process itself. Episode 7 is also very special because it's Laura's story. It's how Laura came to develop the compassion method, which her triggering event in her life was a little different than mine, as you'll learn in episode 7. But that's ultimately, that triggering event is ultimately what led her to developing the compassion method. And you can learn all about that on episode 7. Episode 18 is where I share more of my story, as I mentioned, my great awakening, as I've come to call it. So, episode 44 is also very good because it talks about all the ways you can engage with Laura and the compassion method. the different resources that she has available. But I would say the number one place to start today is to sign up for the email list. And when you do that, you're going to receive two free resources that are really very foundational as you begin your compassion method journey. So, Laura, can you describe these two resources a little bit?
Yeah, the two resources that you're going to be receiving is the child picture exercise and how am I seeing exercise. And one thing I want to say really quick before I dive into what those free resources are is this podcast is set up to actually have a practical application, not just be content and things that you're learning to educate yourself. And so that's why we offer free resources, not just for you to have that benefit, but also for you to practically be able to apply what you learn in this podcast. And so the first one is a child picture exercise. And that is one that I developed unknowingly through my own journey of finding a picture of myself when I was 3 years old and really not liking that 3 year old. And it was so shocking to me that I put that picture on my fridge and I looked at it and I looked at it and looked at it until I could see that little girl for who she really was. And in that process, I fell in love with her. And I want to be with her and I want to help her through this journey, which is also connected to the compassion method. So, highly recommend the child picture exercise. And then the how am I seen is kind of more of the adult version of who we are, being able to recognize the characteristics that aren't about what we do, but are about who we are, and letting the community around us be able to contribute and to show us how they see who we are.
Yeah, I think that these are very, very foundational because they serve for me as icebreakers. I had
Yes.
no idea how disconnected from myself I was. And
Mm-hmm.
like you, um, I don't know that I looked at my picture and didn't like the person, my childhood picture, but I looked at the picture and just could not even connect that that was actually me.
It's like you didn't know him.
Yeah,
Even if you didn't even have you had the indifference of not even not liking him. You just didn't know him.
I had to stare at that picture for a long, long time before I really started to connect like, hey, wait a second. That's actually me. And that's still me. That little boy is still there inside of me. And then the how am I seen very foundational as well. I actually have on my computer monitor the the results. I won't go into how the how am I seen exercise works. You're gonna have to, sign up for the resource and give us your email address.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have the results that came from the how am I seen exercise. It's all faded and tattered and torn, but it's still taped to my computer monitor right here next to me.
Yeah.
So very, very powerful exercises. So, before we wrap up, a quick note about how you found us. We're using social media to spread the word about Triggered and True, and we want to make it easy for you to share this with others. If you're listening because of an ad on social media, thank you for clicking on it. So, here's how you can help us grow this community. You can share this episode with others that you feel need to hear it, and you can send them to our website, triggeredandtrue.com, or just simply share the podcast link. You can also, we highly encourage you to do this, leave a review on your favorite podcast platform because this helps others find us. All right, that's it for our intro episode. We're so glad you're here and we can't wait to walk this journey with you. So listen to episodes 1 through 6. Let us know how it resonates. You are worth it.
Thank you all so much for joining us on Triggered and True. This is just the beginning. We have so many episodes that you can join us on and that we can continue to grow in this process together.
Oh, and don't forget to enter your email address below so that you can receive the two free resources. So, like me, you can have a wonderful icebreaker to help you begin your compassion method journey. See you in the next episode.